to another episode of Pimp Your Brilliance with Monique Malcolm, a podcast about brilliant people leveraging their passions to create their own opportunities. I aim to show you what's really possible when you shut down the chorus of fear and lean into your genius zone. You can learn more about this show and subscribe for updates by visiting keepchasingthestars.com/podcast or come hang out with me on Instagram at StarChasersOnly. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hey Star Chasers, welcome to Minisode number 4. If you want to check out the show notes for this episode, you can find them at keepchasingthestars.com/M4. Today I want to talk about conferences, specifically how to get the most out of conferences. And I have 9 really quick, simple tips for you to get the best return for your investment in conferences. Because let's be honest, conferences are not cheap. Between cost to attend, which could be anywhere from $100 all the way to $1,000 plus, transportation costs, so planes, trains, bus fare, Ubers, taxis, costs for lodging, so hotel stays, Airbnbs, food, things that you need for the conference like media kits and business cards. All of that those costs add up, and it can easily run you $1,000 plus just to attend one conference. Now, I'm not saying that to scare you off. I encourage you to attend conferences. Conferences are one way that I was really able to grow my business, not feel so alone as a solopreneur, and really connect with people who understand what I'm doing. Also, due to attending many conferences, I've been able to interview some really crazy, amazing people because there are contacts that I made at these conferences. So if you can fit it into your budget, I definitely suggest that you attend conferences. Pick one that you feel is a good fit for you. Do your research. Check out the previous conference schedules. Check out the conference social media. But research and see if the conference is a good fit for you. And if it is, then yay, pull the trigger, buy your ticket, and then follow these 9 steps for rocking it at your next conference. So my first tip is to do your research. Now, I mentioned doing your research to decide if a conference is a good fit for you. But once you have decided on a specific conference, do a little pre-conference homework and research the conference sponsors, speakers, and attendees. Usually you can find this information on the conference website. Spend some time browsing their website. Spend some time browsing the conference sponsor websites and get a feel for their brand and their cultures. So if you're a person who is interested in getting sponsorships for your blog, your podcast, or working with brands in some way, you have to come prepared. Because in a conference weekend, brands and sponsors are speaking to literally hundreds of people who are vying for a limited amount of opportunities, to be honest. So to make sure that you have the best chance of standing out, do your research beforehand. Check out your sponsors, check out the brands on social media. Figure out what they post about. Figure out what type of content do they create. And then try to envision how your content would fit amongst theirs. This is going to give you a leg up on your creative neighbors because maybe they really want to work with a specific brand, but they have not taken the time to research if the content that they are creating is something that the brand would be interested in. So I highly suggest that you check out the conference website and the sponsors' websites and stalk their social medias and get a feel for their brand, their culture, so that you can be better prepared when you attend the conferences. And then rinse and repeat. Do the same thing for attendees and speakers if you can find them. A good way to check out who's attending as another attendee is to check out the conference's Facebook group. A lot of these conferences have Facebook groups where people are chatting, looking for roommates, making plans to meet up. So it's a good place for you to kind of scope out and see who's going to be there. Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to connect with? And you can do a lot of this beforehand. My next tip is to practice your pitch. You should have a 30-second elevator pitch ready to go at all times. This does not need to be a long 5-minute rambling pitch. Just stick to the basics. What you do, who you serve, and try to get it in 30 seconds or less. If your pitch doesn't feel natural, if you feel uncomfortable saying it or you're stumbling over yourself, practice. Write your pitch on an index card, practice in front of your mirror, practice in front of family members, practice in front of your pets. Just keep saying it over and over again until it becomes natural because you want to be able to deliver it as soon as somebody says, well, what do you do? Because trust me, People are going to be asking that question the entire conference weekend. So make sure you're prepared, come with your pitch practiced and ready to deliver. Tip number 3, dress the part. Conference attire is always a huge discussion in these conference Facebook groups. So let me make you feel better, dispel all your fears about how you're dressing at conferences. Unless it's an ultra business conference, a lot of times these blogging conference, these business conferences for online entrepreneurs, they're pretty casual and relaxed. There's not a dress code. I say dress for the impression that you want to leave, and always dress to reflect your brand. So you can dress in your brand colors. If there's signature styles that you're known for or things that you're known for, bring those elements into your conference wear. I met a woman this past weekend, I blogged her, whose brand is very much about unicorns, and she had like unicorn hair and a unicorn horn, and she passed out unicorn stickers and tattoos. So if that's a part of your brand and you feel comfortable wearing that, go for it. I always like to try to dress to stand out, because at a conference, you really do need to try as hard as possible to stand out. So you don't have to be a fashionista. You don't have to buy a new wardrobe to attend a conference. Just make sure that you're comfortable and that your clothing reflects your brand. Because would you hire a lawyer that showed up to the office in a clown suit? Probably not. Make sure you're dressing for the impression that you want to leave with people. And my most important tip about conference wardrobe: nothing ruins a conference day like wearing shoes that are pinching or are too tight, so just wear comfortable shoes. Tip number 4, plan out your schedule. Try to attend as many conference-related events as possible. So in many of these conferences that you're going to attend, they have other events besides just the breakout sessions and the keynotes. Sometimes they have special events like movie screenings or special dinners. They have conference parties. None of these things are required, but if you can fit them into your schedule and make it work, then definitely attend them. Also, give some thought into the sessions that you want to attend at the conference. One is great for scheduling and planning, but if you find that there's a space in your schedule that you don't really have a session that you're really looking forward to attend, that's a great time for you to go visit the sponsor booths and talk to sponsors, because a lot of times during the sessions, there's not as many people roaming the hallways because they're in the sessions. I have found some of my best connections have happened in the hallways of the conferences. So if you know ahead of time what sessions that you do and don't want to attend, you can plan and schedule time to go meet with sponsors. And don't forget to plan time to decompress. Conferences are busy, they're long, it's long hours you have to be on. You're talking to people that you may not know, and if you're an introvert, it's even more taxing. So just make sure that you build in some time for yourself. Even if it's just like 5 minutes just to walk away, make sure that you're taking care of yourself at conferences, because it can be draining. Okay, so tip number 5, take notes about the people that you're talking to. Again, I'm going to beat this dead horse about how many people you're going to meet in a conference weekend, and you're honestly not going to remember every person you talk to unless you take notes. And the way that I do this is carrying a notebook and a roll of washi tape. So you can take this washi tape and tape in the business cards of people that you have met and just make really quick notes about them. So you can make notes about what they were wearing, what you discussed. If you had any ideas that you wanted to pitch them, basically you're just making notes of things to mention when you follow up with them after the conference. And this is a great practice to do, because I promise you, you're going to forget and you're going to be tired. But once it's time to follow up, if you have your notebook and it's already filled with notes and business cards, it just makes that follow-up process so much simpler. So my final tips are after the conference is over. So after the conference is over, you're back home. You absolutely need to follow up. But before you follow up, you need to organize your business cards. So I like to make 3 piles: sponsors or brands, people I really liked and want to stay connected to, or people who I'm interested in potentially doing some type of a collaboration with, and then a toss pile. For the people in the sponsor pile and the connect pile, follow all those people on social media. You've made friends, now follow them, and it's just a good way for you to kind of see more about what they do and better craft your pitch or your collaboration idea once you're ready. Tip number 7 is follow up. And this is crucial. If you want to absolutely get the best return on your investment for a conference, you must follow up. I try to stick to a guideline of 24 to 72 hours after the conference or networking event is over to make my initial contact. And it's nothing fancy. I send a quick email expressing how nice it was to meet that person, recap any ideas for collaborations that you may have discussed. So if we've already been talking about we should do this or we should do that, I talk about that in that email, or pitch an idea. So maybe you didn't have an idea right that second when you met the person, but you thought about an idea later on. Now's the time to let them know what that is. And it's also great to set up Skype coffee dates for people that you just actually liked and you maybe just want to stay connected with. So I have several conference friends that I just absolutely love. And after I see them at conferences, I always try to reach out and be like, hey, can we set up something to just chat or talk about the conference or whatever it is? And you can do this with people that you just met. And I encourage it. Sometimes you'll meet people for the first time and it'll just be a good conversation. Not all connections that you make at conference have to be like a business deal. How am I going to get money from working with this person type thing? It can just be, I really like their vibe and I want to stay connected with them. So set up coffee dates on Skype and have a good time. Finally, my last tip, and I feel like this is the most obvious one, but you would be amazed at how often I have attended conferences and seen this happen, or there has to be constant reminders in like the Facebook group about this, but check your attitude and be nice. Elitism, big egos, rudeness, those things do not go far in the online circles. And trust me, if you think working online is a huge, expansive industry and nothing gets back, trust me, everything gets back. The circles are a lot smaller than you think. So if you're mean and you're nasty to people, other people will know. It will come back. So be nice. Be nice to everybody. Don't look down your nose at people. And especially remember this one thing. You don't know how well connected somebody else is. You should just never assume that by appearances or by somebody's numbers, that's telling their full story. You just don't know. And so I just always try to be nice to everyone because why not? Everybody's here to have a good time. I want to have a good time. It's just easier to be nice. But mostly it's just good karma. Your reputation is all you have to really go on at conferences outside of like social media numbers, vanity metrics. But your reputation will take you far. And if you're a nice person, I promise you will attract nice people and you will have a better conference experience. So be nice. Check your attitude. Smile at people. Sit with strangers at lunch. Speak to people in the hallway. Give as much as you want back from the conference. And I promise you it will pay off 100-fold. So those are my tips. If you have any that you'd like to add, definitely check out keepchasingthestars.com/M4 and add your tips in the comments. And I hope that I run into you at a conference sometime soon. And that's it for this week's episode. Thanks so much for listening. Learn more about this show and get access to show notes by visiting keepchasingthestars.com. While you're there, make sure you subscribe for updates. I'll be back next week, and in the meantime, go out there and pimp your brilliance.